Quick snap.
This quick snap is one of 5 quick snaps that'll be covering the fundamentals of playing inside linebacker. It is a shorter part of an hour-and-a-half long video I put together about how we've gone about coaching up the fundamentals of our inside linebackers the past few years. So I'll make sure I put a link in the description down below to that longer video if you want to check it out. And by the end of the week, I plan on getting links to all 5 quick snaps about the fundamentals of inside linebacker play.
In this quick snap, we're going to talk about keying guards, especially within an odd defensive structure, and the reads that those guards give inside linebackers, how those guard reads rarely lie to inside linebackers and let them very aggressively get downhill, pursue, get to the point of attack, and be in position to make tackles within a 3-4 structure based off the reads that a guard key gives them. In my opinion and in my experience as a defensive coordinator, when you are playing an odd front, a 3-4, the most effective read for your inside linebacker is reads off of a guard key. We prefer keying those offensive guards because we see full house T backfields where 4 ball carriers are ultimately going to touch the ball over the course of the game. There's really a variety of misdirection, even on full flow plays. There's ultimately 3 points of attack, and then you get the counters going back, the boots going back. And a lot of times those guards lead you in the right direction, whereas you can't key the backfield when there's multiple ball carriers going in multiple directions. The ball carriers are going to lie. The guards typically don't. When we're keying those offensive guards, our reads include inside movement by the guard, whether that's a down block or scoop block. We're going to treat both of those the same. It came to that realization my second year coaching in the 3-4 system that I've been coaching in. Ultimately, that down block and that scoop block are going to be treated the same. We're downhill fill, and then we're scraping based off the backfield and filling again. And the concept of fill, scrape, fill, I'll make sure we get to that in some film coming up here. That guard can move outside, whether that's a reach block or a base block. And we're going to stack that guard. We're going to know our initial assignments, typically B gap, unless we got some sort of movement on. Then I know if it's B gap or A gap. But I'm going to stack that guard. And again, I'm fill, scrape, fill off of what the backfield does. If I stack that guard up in the B gap, ultimately the running back's going to have to cut back to A gap, and that's where I would fall back. That guard could pull inside. So the inside pull is something going behind the center. We say guard away equals opposite A, and we make a guard call to the other inside linebacker. Typically, he's reading his guard. He's going to have a down block. You'll see a diagram coming up here shortly. So that guard call is maybe not super important there, but it gets our guys understanding, all right, we got a clue of where the ball's probably going because where the guard's going, and it reemphasizes, give those guys a verbal reminder that they're working together all the time. Outside pull, so that guard goes completely behind the tackle now, working to the perimeter. We're immediately scraping outside and continuing downhill while making a pull call. Here, I think a pull call is more important, making that to the other inside linebacker, because that's telling them, it's a buck sweep, pin and pull type deal. We both need to be working flatter. That backside inside linebacker, though, needs to be constantly looking for some sort of cutback if things get messy on the perimeter. And then lastly, movement backwards, a hi-hat, pass block. We're dropping off at our 45, working in relationship to the number 3 receiver. Here is, I think, why you use guard reads in a 3-4 system. All right, so backfield, there's 3 backs back there if the quarterback's a running threat, and he's going to be on this play. So they fake power or sweep here to the perimeter. They run quarterback trap back away from it. Our inside linebackers never take a step to the perimeter here. They're both downhill where the ball is ultimately going. And now 21's fit is not great. But that's a little bit on the nose. That knows if he wasn't picking, he's picking a side of the center, really. If he was more straight on into the center, 55 would feel like he's got a double longer, and 21 could get more downhill. So if I read backs, 32, he's got to make the realization, all right, back away, I take the next back. Here, he sees his guard. His guard is playing slow. So he's going to fit downhill. He's a spill player. he gets completely wrecked by the offensive tackle. And again, 21. So our end result of this play out of our linebackers is not what we want. They're not making the tackle, but they're working to the point of attack. They never take a step. Again, they don't follow the fakes because the guards are not lying. Guard blocks down. If he screamed downhill faster, the tackle's angle is going to be more messed up. 32 shuffling a little bit too long. If he screamed downhill faster and tried to take this real quick, he'd beat our 4 technique there. He's down inside. We still got support out of our outside linebacker. 32 maybe goes and makes the tackle if he just screams downhill. Instead, he gives 62 time to get up on him. We get a spill. We were playing 5 techniques, not 4 techniques. And again, the backside linebacker, guard away, opposite A. He should be more downhill on this as much as the nose. Again, the nose picks a side to win to. We were true 2-gap in that nose. It'd be nice if he was flipping his hips into that opposite A. That guard blocks him longer. 21 comes completely clean. We'll get that on other film here later on. First read we're gonna make when we're keying guards is that guard coming right at me. That guard with what we call a backer rule as a flex bone team. That guard comes at me. I'm gonna stack B gap. I'm gonna force cut back to my teammate. That guard's working a scoop in as the will linebacker. I want to again stack my B gap and then be able to fall to where the ball is. Flip it around, they go away from the max, same deal. And this is what that would look like. So now it depends on what gap responsible I am. This one, I'm A gap responsible. I'm inside gap responsible. Blue barrel's the center. There's my guard. If we're slanting to the left, if the line's moving to the left, I am A gap responsible. I know that. So I don't need to stack it up as much if we're on a movement. Here's a good example of being inside gap responsible. Our MAC linebacker is right there. He's working downhill. Everything gets closed off. He makes the tackle. Really good. That's just about as good of a tackle example as what we had out of that JV kid. Motion away. 4 techniques in B gap. Outside linebacker here is in C gap, and we're really working out to the D gap out of the inside linebacker. So as much as we're initially, he is A gap responsible, I believe. He's A to B gap responsible. Nose has made a mess. He's taking care of both A gaps. 4 techniques moving inside. He's taking care of the B gap. Outside linebacker's taking care of the C gap. That inside linebacker needs to be able to. That's an example of, all right, I can't fill B because my 4 did. I can't fill C because my 6 technique did. I'm going to keep on scraping. And he knows the ball's coming this way because the guard down blocked. Or the guard's base blocking. The guard's coming at me, except for the 4 technique keeps him clean. Don't have an end zone clip here, but his guard's going to come straight at him. He's inside. We were on a line movement to the field, so our right here, that linebacker's inside the guard. First guy on the show. Really made most of that tackle all on his own. Another case of guards coming at me. I'm an inside filler, and Cody was not the fastest. He wasn't the biggest. I think he wrestled his senior year at like 140, 135 pounds. Probably weighed 145 pounds during the football season. Downhill, could rip a little better. It gets knocked down, but it gets on some legs, wrestles him to the ground. And this is, again, why we want to read guards in an odd front. Why I prefer doing it this way. Because right now, you watch the rest of the backfield, quarterback, fullback, like you're looking like this, and you're like, man, they got safety over here. Well, the guys that worked over there are the guys who keys say go over there. You know, the 4 or 5 technique we have here, he's got a base block by his offensive tackle. The outside linebacker's got an outside release by his tight end. The cornerback's playing run support. His near back's up inside, so that becomes the safety's responsibility. He's outside leverage on that tight end to make sure he sets the edge. If we're keying backfield with our linebackers, number 32 is maybe completely out of the picture. So instead of an inside linebacker making a tackle, we're making a tackle for a 6, 7, 8 yard gain with our safeties in our corner. Another dive. So that linebacker tries to come straight at me. Or the guard tries to come straight at the linebacker. Right there's the guard's butt. Guard's right there. 3 technique keeps that inside linebacker clean. Inside linebacker scrapes out to C gap. Really the 3 technique close A gap all by himself. We get the ball out to the perimeter. Great example of leveraging it to my run support. Another dive read in this case. Inside linebacker's keying the guard. Works downhill. And really that's more of a down block, which we're about to talk about in an upcoming clip. Dylan here. That guard's coming down. You're going to stack. This is a good example of stacking. He's staying square. Ball carrier square. Ball carrier scrapes at the last second. We get him running sideways, 2 yard gain. Not a bad play. So now this is where I think the guard reads become really effective is when you're playing a gap scheme. Play side, you get the down block. You know you're coming downhill. You're looking to spill. You're expecting a guard coming around there, some sort of insert blocker, maybe an ISO, and you're expecting to spill it. The backside linebacker is going to scrape and overlap. So down block, downhill, fill. Hit things with my outside shoulder because I'm a spill player at that point. Here it is. Excuse me. Here it is in a game. Top inside linebacker end zone shot's awesome. He kind of gets hits a run through. And this is a great example of team defense. All right, that guard blocks down. I'm filling now. 5 technique anchor C gap. I'm the B gap player. Number 26, the lead back. Again, if I'm playing the lead back, yeah, I'd track this hip. But I don't find the ball carrier as fast. I'm going to argue if I would track the near back. And I definitely, this open window, I probably don't see this open window if I'm not reading that guard as that linebacker. I'm B gap responsible, 5 technique anchor C gap, nose plays the A gap. I'm downhill filling now. Hit the run through, 1 yard gain. Nice job by Ian there. Stopped by the classroom the other day. Ian did. Actually, he's in the Navy. He's on break. And, he's at the Naval Academy and coming back. Top inside linebacker. He's filling downhill. We spill it out to him. He kills it. He really makes a play in C gap there. Let you see it one more time. His guard down blocks. He starts to fill. He makes the kill. We'll get straight to the end zone shot on this. This is just a beautiful, beautiful run fit by all our guys. So guards down. Will linebacker Robbie working downhill. He fills the interior gap. He makes sure a cutback doesn't happen. So now his backside linebacker, back here, his backside linebacker guard away. I'm going to scrape opposite A. Opposite A is closed by the nose. Will linebacker's downhill. He's fitting B gap. He closes it. This Will linebacker, Mac linebacker, backside linebacker, he should be looking to get downhill right through here. He kind of stacks up his teammate a little bit too long, so we don't get the scrape and overlap that we prefer out of him. He should be making the tackle right here on this near hip. Good job, though. We forced the ball wider, outside linebacker corner. run the kid out of bounds. 3-yard gain. Not a bad defensive play in my opinion. Get to the end zone shot again. I got it down. So number 3 is downhill. You see for a second right here, the 4 technique closing B gap. He makes a little bit of shuffle. He's out to C gap. He spills the ball. And that's our backside linebacker making play all the way out in the alley. So he gets that guard away. A gap's closed by the nose. B gap closed by the 4 technique. C gap, D gap closed by the other inside linebacker and the outside linebacker. Ball's on the perimeter. He goes and tackles legs. A little bit more of a gain than we want. The corner on that side could maybe set a more aggressive edge. And then maybe we get this thing tackled for less than a 5-yard gain. 0-yard gain coming up here. Downhill. Scrape and overlap coming. End zone shot is happening too fast, but you get the downhill fill. The scrape could be more confident by our other linebacker. We'll get to the end zone shot. So backside linebackers actually blitzing here. Guard. Really, this is more of a base block type deal out of the guard. Not the perfect place, but that's okay. That backside inside linebacker is actually making the play here as the ball works away. Real good job scraping across, getting to the next open window. And that's a great example. He's on an A-gap blitz here. He plays that side of the guard, and because he knows his gap responsibility, he knows his guard's working on him there, and he's the A-gap responsible, he sees the backfield off of all that, scrapes across. So that's the case. For whatever reason this year, number 82, his name's Nick. He got out to the perimeter a little bit more often, so Ian had to play cutback. When we went at Ian, when teams went at Ian and he got some sort of, all right, my guard's telling me stay on my side. Guard's base blocking for Nick. When Ian saw that, he'd go fill that A gap now, and Nick could be an overlap player. When Nick got stuff at him for whatever reason, he scraped a little bit more often, a little bit faster, and Ian had to play cutback. So that's a great example. Those 2 inside linebackers need to work off of each other. Get to the end zone shot, because that's what we're here for. Downhill fill right away. No hesitation. Pad level is outstanding. Ian's another wrestling kid for us. Like I mentioned earlier about Cody. Ball carrier can't go anywhere. Downhill fill. Scrape and overlap. And we chop it down at 5 technique or whatever there. Here we go. This will be Kevin. Downhill fill, scrape, make the tackle. End zone shot. Guard's down blocking. Kevin's filling. Guard misses him. Kevin makes the tackle. Good job by our Kevin's playing will for us at that spot. Here we go, looking at that linebacker, that guard. We're downhill off the down block, and we're scraping from the backside. I think both linebackers show up here. So down block, fill. Guard away, opposite A. And we do get both linebackers in on the tackle by the end of this thing. So where I said earlier, if we want to stay downhill, that first clip I showed you where there was a lot of misdirection, less misdirection here. Okay, if I was keying backfield, I'd probably get almost the exact same fit. And ultimately, we get a base block out there. This is like a power, a one-back power type deal, or at least they're basing with their offensive tackle. If I get downhill more, I'm going to make the play in the backfield as a linebacker, trusting that down block. So now, guard away. Guard away, go downhill, kill it behind. If we tackle a little better with better leverage, maybe we make a better play there. Downhill fill out of that linebacker. End zone shot's going to show it real nice. Keying that guard. Guard down blocks. Window gets a little bit muddy here, but that linebacker is tight to the tackle who's down blocking. Our 5 technique should be squeezing this down more, and we should be getting the scrape outside by the linebacker. Linebacker gets blocked down on by the tight end. And we probably only get this if we're reading, again, the guard. If he reads his near back's faking the power block. He's stepping outside. He's trying to follow that. He sees that guard down block. He knows he needs to fill straight ahead. As much as he scrapes and makes the play in what we'd call, I guess, B gap, C gap, really. He's outside the offensive tackle. He's inside the tight end. As much as he's making the play in C gap, he's just really going forward because he sees the guard down block. And while that's a 4-yard gain, with the way our 5 technique played it, that trap goes for way more if we're not keying that guard. Let's check the backside linebacker. Guard away. He's a little slow. He should be getting to opposite A. He's in a cutback position. Not a perfect trap fit by any means, but there we are. Guard down blocks. I'm filling downhill. The Mac linebacker there. Ball gets spilled to the perimeter, so he scrapes just a little bit to C gap. Tackle for loss. Another trap play. We get the inside linebacker scraping out. That's that fill, scrape, fill principle. So guards down. Right here, that would be our will linebacker in this situation. He's working downhill, trying to fill. Guard away. He's working opposite A. Opposite A is closed. I'm going to keep scraping. And for some reason, backside linebacker doesn't follow his guard. We get more guys to the point of attack, and instead of it almost being a touchdown here, it maybe is a tackle for loss because we get more hats on the ball. Yeah. So, will linebacker downhill fill. That guard down blocked. We make contact in the backfield. It's a 4-yard loss. If we just make that one-on-one tackle, but I think what makes tacklers better is when you get multiple guys. If we get the overlap out of our backside linebacker, okay, if he picks up his guard away, which is, don't know why he's doing this, okay, if he scrapes to overlap, or if we spill this ball with our 5 technique, that ball goes out wider, and now the angle of that running back, he's not able to keep his shoulders squared, and he's a big running back. I think he wrestled. I know he wrestled 189 as like a sophomore. He might have wrestled 215 as a senior, and this is his senior year. He's easily during football season 200 pounds. And our inside linebacker there, Kevin, also played center for us, offensive line. Actually got moved to linebacker because he played some guard here and there in scout looks, and the inside linebacker Coach Reb, saw how good he moved. If he stays on that tackle, we get 3-yard loss, which is huge in that spot. Counter GT. We're going to get good downhill fill here. Our backside linebacker here doesn't pick up his guard going away. I don't know. He's more concerned about, I don't know, something on the perimeter of the pass game. But guard down. We're squeezing it down with the 3 technique here. They're going double down block. 3 technique ultimately gets blocked into the B gap, which is fine. That's where it's supposed to be. Fill out. Good play. So now guard reads a counter play. Power and counter end up being the exact same thing when you're keying guards. There's a down block, there's a guard away. We're a fill player, we're a scrape player. Guard away, fill opposite A. And we're initially filling opposite A. So if we got some sort of line movement on where the nose goes, nose goes to the right. Again, blue barrel's the center in this drill. Nose goes to the right, I'm filling to the left. I'm going to take that first A gap. If there's an open window, I got to go fill it because that's what the ball carrier is going to see. And if the ball carrier doesn't see it, I maybe snipe him in the backfield. I get him before he gets out. And then again, I'm leveraging with my shoulder. Real good rep here by Trent, showing us how to do things. Davion giving us the guard look. And this is not a blind thing. This is actually real good play coming up. I'm filling the opposite A. That's my aiming point, but I'm looking for an open window. Guard goes away. All right, that opposite A is closed. Holy crap. And really, the path by, ultimately we're playing Mac linebacker here out of 32. That ball carrier has to cut back so fast, and that's really aiming for opposite A. Opposite A got closed. There's a huge gap. I'm going to go fit it. Outstanding play. There's our guard. Guard away. Aim for opposite A. Stay downhill. Good tackle. That's one of the first times we're playing an odd front. Several years ago. Christian Hudson scraping across. And this is why we got to aim for opposite A. Nose got washed. 3 technique got kicked out. We're trapped. But they don't have a guy to get to this backside linebacker. We're playing what we call a nose 33 jaws, where we got an extra linebacker. We subbed a DB off the field. And it's a 5-3 look against full house T. It'd be a 3-3-5 look if we get some sort of spread. And because they don't have that, we get the run through in the A gap. Guard away for backside linebacker here. Now, this play gets made because the outside linebacker is outstanding at the top of the screen. But this is a great job if you just watch the inside linebacker. His shoulders stay square. He's downhill. Guard away. Ball carrier gets ate up by the defensive lineman. He's going to be able to scrape to the perimeter because he's underneath the down blocks of, I believe that's the offensive tackle and tight end. Great job of playing the outside hit for the kill. And again, I don't think we get that downhill fill out of him without the guard read. And that lets him, really, that tackle should be picking him up, the tight end should be picking up the other inside linebacker, and it should have to be a DB that makes the play if the offense executes just a little bit better here. Real good run fit when we get to the perimeter. Nose makes a mess. We got a bunch of guys. Get to the end zone here. Just a great fit. Guard away. Work to opposite A. Now, the down block out of, I believe that's offensive tackle, gets our linebacker here for a second. Because we're spilling it to the perimeter, he's going to be able to get out there. We almost get a really big turnover. Counter. So again, this is counters where if they're going to fake power coming to the left here. If we're keying backfield, all right, that back pauses. That's going to pause me as the linebacker here. Our again, I think that's our Mac linebacker, Dylan. That's going to pause me. There's no hesitation here. That guard goes away. I'm going. I'm finding a fit. Find the first gap to run through. He does. 2-yard loss. And as much as this is a guard away example out of our Mac linebacker, Will linebacker, what's his guard do? What's this kid do right here? His guard's down blocking our nose. Go fill it. So again, that misdirection play that's supposed to go get us, supposed to make it hard for inside linebackers. We've got, we're all over it. Both inside linebackers, backside, outside linebacker. They're all in the backfield making a play. 2-yard loss. Real good. There's our fill. There's our scraping overlap. Guard down, filling, guard away, scrape opposite A. Opposite A is really close by my teammate, my buddy at linebacker. Scrape outside of it. Just coming out of a half, and they're trying a different blocking scheme on their trap play here. And they're, as much as we're trapped and we're kicked out, well, that 4 technique had the tackle outside release, so he's thinking sweep. Not a good spot for a 4 technique, but both inside linebackers are clean because we forced that team to make some blocking scheme adjustments. Guard away, go fill opposite A. Again, if I'm keying the backfield, that running back, his shoulders are turned like he's going on sweep. And I don't know if this is sweep or power for sure out of this team. The other back, what I see, like that looks like sweep to me. The other linebacker, the MAC linebacker here, we're playing our 32 front. That guy is out to the perimeter because he sees the guard working out there. Really, he should be in that A gap, and then we're getting the scrape and overlap. But again, we're filling first open window. He's to the outside. If we're not filling that opposite A, if we're not keying the guard, we may be overrun this as the backside linebacker. Great example of staying square and downhill and playing the cutback. And it's pull away, scrape opposite A. Or guard away, excuse me. All right. This is James playing Will linebacker, playoff game. He could be more downhill. I don't like how he hops and kind of shuffles and does karaoke in place there for a second. But guard away, opposite A, a 1-yard gain. We snipe that in the backfield if he goes harder. All right, now we got some sort of work to the outside. So that guard pulls the play side. He's going around the offensive tackle. I'm a scrape player right away. I got the scoop to in from that other guard, and I'm scraping. Once I hear that pull call, I know if this guard's scooping me instead of guard away, this guard's scooping me. Now I want to win to the side that the pull's happening. My teammate yells pull. I want to go win to that side of the guard. So there's an example of a pull. I'm playing behind the guard. Again, I'm leveraging it to the perimeter. The other read that's ultimately the same. If that guard works outside, he tries to cut our 4 technique. That's what the blue barrel represents. All right, center is the black trash can, guard, 4 technique. 4 technique gets cut. Now I'm the scrape player to the outside. And again, I want to be outside shoulder, tackle it, force the ball to my leverage on the perimeter. Real good example out of our JVs here. Guard works to reach our 3 technique. Inside linebacker shows up. He's scraping. Our corner makes the play, but right here, here's our inside linebacker working outside, inside out support. End zone shot. Guard steps out, overtakes the 3 technique. I'm looking for a run through. Is it coming through B gap? That's why there's hesitation. That's why he doesn't make the tackle, but his job is make sure that ball doesn't go up inside. Outside linebacker anchors C gap, makes the running back waste his block. Corner's completely off the play. And the corner stepping off the play that early, like he knows that guy's blocking him. He has to know that, otherwise that's a little bit dicey there. So we get like a truck toss type deal here. As much as the tackle pulls, it's the guard getting outside that lets our linebacker know, hey, I got to get outside as well. So right here is the guard. Guard's out. I'm downhill. Fill inside out. You see the quick little dip right here. There's a quick little dip. Hey, maybe I got to fit this inside. Here's I don't know what technique we're playing here. If it's a 4 or 5. Probably a 4. Our 4 tries to hit pocket the tackle. He's doing that. So he's hanging out in B gap. Inside linebackers just making sure the ball doesn't cut up in B gap. 4 or 5 technique. Again, I think we played a 4 here. He beat the guard. We got a bunch of tacklers on the perimeter. If we tackle that damn thing better, we're talking about a 1-yard loss. So now ball is getting out to the perimeter. We get to the end zone shot here. Ultimately, this is more example of a perimeter play than anything. But we're keying that guard. Really, just should be on the down blocking part. Everything's out past it now. And this is also a down and distance. It's 4th and 4. We might be off of a timeout. Inside linebacker, we get the win right here. We knew the ball carrier was probably going, whichever side that running back was on, that's a full house T type deal. We knew that this guy was getting the ball. Plan on scraping to the perimeter as that linebacker. Great roll tackle, in my opinion. Seals the deal. Sweep coming. Guard's outside. Guard's trying to work outside. Maybe not quite a pull, but it's definitely a reach. Start working downhill. Because he's downhill, the guard doesn't really see him. And the inside linebacker is going to be able to run the kid to the sideline. We get a hold down inside. So last read, we get a hi-hat, a pass drop. We're dropping to 45. We're relating to the number 3 receiver. Running back in 2x2 slot in 3x1. And I want depth. That's the number one thing. Trent could probably open up, drop this right foot back at a deeper angle, and we want to work to about 10 yards so we can come downhill on things. And here's a swing again. So now this is us getting a ball carrier involved. We'll drill it both ways. Depends on the type of team you're playing that week. I don't like the little instead of that crossover step, it'd be greater if he dropped that foot there and went. Get to 8 to 10 yards. When the ball gets thrown, you can come down your inside leverage, outside linebacker or DB, depending on the formation, probably be outside leverage. So we get, this is us relating to number 3. After that guard read, and this is play action off of that. But this is us working to that number 3. All right, they go downfield almost. They're faking their power. Number 3 is the tight end. Number 3 is blocking here. So he's got a clue. All right, pass, and he actually gets a hand on the ball. So now this is 3 comes vertical. This is why we want to drop. This is better. Still not perfect, but it's better. Our feet don't get crossed now. We're dropping to that hook curl area. Number 3 stays vertical. I could go match it, and he knows what's going on because we're practicing. Here's Trent back when he was a player. Does he pass interfere? I don't know. Maybe. Does he get hands on number 3? Absolutely. He's probably more of a hold than a interference. But he never grabs the jersey, so he's relating to number 3. He could have, if he drops a little deeper, he maybe gets a hand on the ball.
Thanks for checking out this quick snap on Coaching Football with Brian Klee. Please follow me on Twitter at Coach Klee. Subscribe to the channel, Coaching Football with Brian Klee, by clicking down below. And if you have any further follow-up questions, email me at coachbrienklee@gmail.com.